Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Good Human Podcast, and today we're going to answer a few more questions that we've had from our listeners. So let's just go ahead and get straight into
it.
Straight into them.
Okay, question. Why am I not getting any better at CrossFit? I train 4 times a week. I'm a 26-year-old female, and I think my diet is quite good.
So the CrossFit, 4 times a week.
Yep.
26-year-old females, so they should be getting easy gains, and that's all. They think their diet's quite good. That's all they've said.
No detail about their diet.
Okay, so 4 times a week. If you are going in and you're putting effort in every time,
Yes.
you're not just like chatting to your mates and stuff, and there's room for that in your life too. But if you're going in every time and you're pushing yourself, and you're looking for progress with the weights and everything, and you're meeting the standards that are set for that workout, the stimulus and all that for the day, then you should definitely be getting results from 4 times a week,
Yes.
almost regardless of your diet. However, there was an almost
Yes.
in there. There was an almost. So 26-year-old female, you would expect easy results.
Yeah.
Another conversation for another day, why older people might not get such good results. Different question. We'll definitely talk about that on another day.
Everybody's got, am I old?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think my diet is quite good. It's probably not.
Yeah, that's
So-
what my head in.
But this is where people will automatically go, oh, that's because she's just eating loads of junk food and pizzas, isn't it? It might be. It might be she's not eating enough.
Enough, yeah.
So, common problem in CrossFit. It's definitely not across the board, but it's a common problem, and it's not just a female problem. It's an all-person problem, right? Where they're doing the training, they're loving it, but they want things to happen faster, and they think that, okay, if I was lighter, it'll be easier. So they're not necessarily wrong. That depends on the individual.
Yeah.
They cut their calories too hard.
Yeah.
This is actually a common dieting problem.
Yeah.
As people cut their calories by 500 or 600, they're like crawling around on 1,200 calories a day.
For any listeners, that's a crazy amount to be cutting.
Right.
Crazy.
So part of that problem comes from they don't know how many calories is maintenance for them.
Yes.
So she's now started training 4 times a week. She's maybe been doing it for like did she say a year? No. No.
She's not said.
No.
That was the point I was going to make.
So we don't know how long she's been doing it for, right? So 4 times a week, so she maybe doesn't know what that training maintenance is.
Yes, for her.
We don't know anything about her height and body weight or anything. So, but we'll take her as an average. Let's say she's 5'6" and weighs I only work in kilos.
What's 140 pounds maybe?
What's that, like 70 kilos?
Yeah, maybe just
65,
under 130 pounds.
65, 70 kilos. So she's like a decent body weight.
Yeah.
She's not overweight, not underweight. It's just probably about right. But she doesn't know how much energy expenditure is being taken up by doing her CrossFit and her daily life.
Yeah.
And it might be about 2,200 calories. But she's maybe underestimating that and thinking it's more like 1,800, because maybe in the past, when she was sedentary,
Yes.
maybe
That
it was.
okay. Or when you started, she's not said how long she's done that for.
Yeah.
So it might be that you need to eat more now. That happened with us. That happened with me.
Yep.
I had to increase my calories. And it also might be, she said, why am I not getting any better CrossFit? If you've been doing it for, say, 2 years, how often are you expecting to see progress, If you've not seen any within a month, that's not
right.
that
Yeah,
crazy.
so I'm going all over on the diet, but actually might have nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
The diet might be okay.
Yeah, you might have a few bad weeks, or it's just normal not to make progress super every week anymore.
Yeah.
Are you realistic about your expectations?
Yeah, so she's maybe, actually, do you know, you're so right. So common, people get that linear progress in that first year, and it just ramps up like this, and they're having a great time every time they pass the barbell, just they brush past it like they can add some kilos. They're just like, and they're having like a great time, and they feel like superhuman, and they're on top of, they're going home, they're telling their family,
Yeah.
oh my god, so I snatched 25, and then it's like, I snatched 27 and a half, and I totally used the weight that I juiced like 3 months ago, but I did it faster.
Yeah.
And they live off that high pretty much every time they go in.
Yeah. That
They're
progress.
a bit better.
Mhm.
And then here's the real reality check. You do CrossFit as long as me, you're actually going to get worse at it.
Shh. Don't do that. Really,
It's character
keep
building.
going, yeah.
It's character building.
That.
Like that upward trajectory, and that was a joking, not joking, because that upward trajectory cannot carry on forever. Otherwise, we would all be back squatting 500 kilos.
That. You can be in the gym for a month and feel like you're just getting worse, or nothing's moving the needle, and then all of a sudden it can happen after 2 months.
We don't know anything about her sleep,
Yeah,
or her
that
stress,
as well.
or has she got kids?
That period
or,
Time in our life as well.
Yeah.
You don't know what's going on.
like, is she in a good relationship? Is she in a supportive relationship?
Is somebody
you know?
you grieving? Are you know stuff like
Yeah.
that can all affect your
Life
life.
life stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So if you just take the training as an isolated thing, it becomes quite simple. Are you eating enough? Are you training properly? Are your expectations realistic?
Yes.
But that's not life. Like, that's just, and I think people can do this with their training. They sort of compartmentalise it and set it apart from life.
Yeah.
You know, and when people come to me and they ask, say something like that, like, why am I not getting any better? Like, I can be quite guilty as well for going, well, are you eating enough, are you drinking enough water, have you got electrolytes, you know, some of the low-hanging fruit questions. But after I stand and talk to them for a little while, it might occur to me to go, what's your work like?
Yeah.
What's your relationship like?
Things outside the gym.
What's your sleep like?
Mm-hmm.
Do you drink? You know?
Absolutely.
Like, sometimes I get answers, sometimes I don't, but I think these are questions that it's worth asking for
to
themselves.
factor in.
Actually, turns out that's quite a big question, isn't it?
There's a lot to say there.
Yeah, I think there's potentially an awful lot of layers to why somebody might be getting not getting
Yeah,
progress.
it's not always obvious either.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or like they might just not be trying hard enough when they're in the gym.
Could be that one.
Right?
Try harder. That is it. Going in and not just going through the motions.
Yeah.
You know,
Like, I
conscious
think
effort.
like that comfort level as well. Like, you've got better at it, you find it easier, and you quite enjoy finding it easier.
Yeah.
So maybe you use a slightly lighter weight because you know that you can rep it out quickly and you can finish first. Nobody ever does that.
Finish first in the warm
No
up.
one ever does that. Yeah, if you win the warm up.
Do that.
Like, I think that's a trap someone could fall into pretty easily.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. Right. Okay. Cool.
Cool. Covered that. That was a good question. Thank you. Next question. My 3 best friends from high school haven't really grown up. They still want to have fun by partying and drinking. I am more into getting an early night and going to the gym. I feel like they just won't take any responsibility for their health, and it's beginning to cause friction in our friendship. Is there something I can do to get them to care about their health more? And how do I stop them asking me to go out partying with them? They just don't seem to understand that I have changed. It's a big question.
Yeah, man. I bet
It's a
that's a
big question.
common problem as well.
Yeah.
We don't know how old this person is. So how old are their school friends? How long have they had them? You know, are they 18 or are they like? Maybe it doesn't matter actually though. Maybe it doesn't matter. I think it's the same problem regardless. Like, people who you treasure that have been your friends forever and you love them,
Yeah.
like you really love being with them, but you've changed and they've not.
Yeah, you've grown a little bit.
You
In
know,
fact,
and
I think-
especially in that 3 dynamic where there's, or like 4 dynamic, sorry, where there's 3 friends that are
Yeah.
lagging
your best friends.
and you're moving on.
It's hard, I tell you. That is, at any age. I think what you said there, it can happen to you at any age. And just as your interests change, what you value, what you consider to be fun.
You could actually imagine that in a relationship as well, couldn't you?
Yeah,
You've
people.
been married for 20
Mhm.
years and
You just grow, and then you're just going off into a different direction.
and like maybe you still love them just as much, and
Yeah.
like you're still having a great laugh with them and everything, you still love spending time with them, but they're wanting to spend time drinking and partying,
And it's just
and
not what
you're
you
wanting
enjoy.
to spend time like
Chatting quietly.
chatting
Yeah.
quietly,
I feel that, I do.
you know, and like looking after yourself better, and
Mhm.
like, so you don't want to be, I don't even know if dragged down is the right, like, they're not bad, they're not wrong.
Yeah.
So I think that, which actually, I think this idea of changing them is, I know you, like, you care, so you like, you've seen the light.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know?
Let me preach to you all.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you want to spread the joy, like, you don't know how good you could feel. You could feel so good. If only you made
Shoving a carrot down our mouth. We don't say carrot. Yeah.
You know, you could feel so good if only you knew. If only you knew. If you only you stopped the drinking and the partying and you trained with me. Oh my God, you'd like.
That's me, my friends.
Oh, I think it's probably a lot of people and a lot of their friends and their family and their relationships.
Yeah.
So then I think, like, don't try and change them.
That you can't change anybody.
You know,
That's a lesson.
love them for who they are and love them for the relationship that you have with them.
Yeah.
And I'm certain they'll, like, if it's a good long like relationship, then they'll love you back just the same. But what will break that is if you start trying to change them.
Yeah, and you get resentful
You
of
know?
it. Yeah.
Like, if they are really trying to drag you in, like, so I think this is something else that comes up a lot, like with work colleagues and stuff as well. Like, if they are actually trying to sabotage you, like, what do you do? Right, I'll tell you, nobody has ever tried to sabotage me. Why? Because I don't let them.
Yeah.
I don't let them. So if somebody looks at my food and is like, "Are you sure you don't want one of these?" No, I'm good.
Yeah, I think when people realise you're not biting in a
Yeah.
sense.
Like, and I don't then make fun of what they're eating.
Yes.
You know, so I don't then try and bring them down
that.
and make them, like, you can't make somebody feel bad, but, you know, like, be careful that, like, you're not making the situation, like, you're not actually creating a bit of the situation.
You're not judging them,
Yeah,
making them feel
that.
judged and creating that.
Yeah, like,
Yeah.
let them be, enjoy them for who they are, like, allow them to live and grow. And I'll tell you something else, don't tell people to change, show them the change. Just show them passively.
Yeah.
You live your life doing the things that have created greater happiness for you, and if they are ready, they'll ask.
That's very true.
If you force it on them, they will never ask, ever.
No. People get their back up about when you're trying to get somebody to change, what you're essentially saying is you're not good enough and what you're doing is not right.
So true.
People get their back up about
Yeah,
that.
and you know, they should.
Yeah. Somebody coming in and telling you how to live your life.
Yeah.
But people aren't ready to hear something. They just won't. You can't impose that onto somebody or they will
Do you
feel
know
like
what this brings me back to? Control.
Yeah.
Control.
is
I've been discussing this with Beth a lot recently, as relinquishing control and not feeling the need to control everybody and your environment. And a great deal of your unhappiness is coming from your desire to be in control of everything. And this goes for pretty much everybody.
yeah, it will be everyone.
Like, if you, and don't sit there telling yourself that it's not you, when it is. I, like, now I see this, I can't unsee it. And when you look at somebody and you disapprove of their lifestyle, it's because you want to control what they're doing. Maybe in some way you think it affects you, but it only affects you if you make it so. This needs to change people, change what they're doing, change their behaviour, change how they dress, change how they look. And you're like, I don't like what they're wearing, I don't like I don't like your vest, you know, it offends me. You know, like, I'm trying to control who you are and what you're doing, rather than going, I love you just how you are.
Yeah, and just being okay
I
with how
don't
they
need
are.
to control it. I don't need to change you to fit some sort of perfect ideal that fits into my perfect world better. And when you relinquish that control, it's all sunshine and rainbows.
Yeah.
It's all cool. I love you for who you are, and it's pretty cool that you're not exactly how I would pencil out in a notepad or whatever.
Mhm.
Yeah, and right, would you really want people to be like that anyway?
Yeah, it'd be a bit boring.
Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's some sort of like perfect replication of yourself.
Yeah, no, you're right. And I think that with that lady in particular, you can't. Your friends enjoy what they enjoy, and if you don't, that's fine. And what I would say actually is a different point. Is sometimes it's just okay that maybe those people just aren't your friends anymore. You know, it's okay
Yeah.
to move on from people.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I probably wouldn't have gone down that route, but yeah, actually.
Right, it's totally, and sometimes you can actually cause yourself more when you cling on to things like this is my friend group. In a sense, that's trying to control it. But clinging on to things that don't work for you anymore can be so draining,
Yeah.
and you can feel even lonelier hanging out with people who don't enjoy the same things as you. Maybe don't get you quite anymore. Maybe they were great friends at one point. They're not bad people anymore.
Mhm.
But remember, friendship is a dynamic between two people, and if they're one pushing your boundaries and what you want to do, so you're saying to people, I don't want to come out, I don't want to drink, and they're still trying to force it down your throat, they're not listening.
Mhm.
You could argue, is that a friendship thing?
Mhm. And is that friendship you want to be part of?
Yeah. And just know it's okay. And I think we're very much fed the opposite, that it's, you know, stick with your friends and like stick with people, and change is great.
Mhm.
Change is great, and for you to grow up and move on, perfect. Again, nothing wrong with that friend group.
Yeah, do you know, honestly, I think nothing will bring you more joy than surrounding yourself with like-minded people.
100%.
You'll
Mhm.
really find people who have a shared interest,
Yeah.
and you can have fun with them and have a laugh with them, talking about and doing the stuff that you actually enjoy.
Yeah, and
Like,
they
you know,
get
that
you.
whole, like, you're the sum total of the 5 people you spend most of the time with.
True.
There is insane amount of truth in that.
100%.
And I would encourage anybody, everybody, to assess that.
You will never feel lonelier than when you're spending time with people that don't get you.
Yeah.
And that counts for friendships and relationships.
And frustrated and angry,
Mm-hmm.
unhappy.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, absolutely. Look at, do the people you spend time with enrich your life?
Yeah. And the direction that you want it to go. Yeah.
And like you said, it doesn't make those old friends bad people.
They're just not for you anymore.
Yeah.
That's okay. That's okay. Yeah. So I think we covered that.
True.
Any points?
No, I
No.
think that was pretty good.
Yeah, that was a good question.
Yeah.
Okay, next question. You talked about not having confidence on looks. So this was in our last podcast, I think we talked about this.
Yeah.
I think I understand, but how can I feel confident about myself if I don't like how I look?
Well, sure they did understand.
That's good.
No, that's a really cute question.
No, it's yeah.
And I mean that in a really nice way, because I also think that is going to be a misunderstanding completely.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so somebody's looking at themselves in the mirror, or on Lord knows, on video, right? And they're going, I'm this, I'm that, I'm so ugly, I'm so unattractive, I'm so this, whatever, you know, so fat or whatever. And they're automatically looking for all the negatives, and they really believe those negatives. How can you possibly be confident if that's what you're seeing?
Yeah.
But you won't see that if you're confident. So is this some sort of hideous infinite loop that you can't get out of? No, it's something that progresses and happens over time. So your confidence doesn't come from this. Your confidence comes from in here, and in here, and here. What do you say, think, and feel about yourself and about other people? Because I'll tell you, if there are negatives attached to those things, what you think, say, and feel about yourself and other people, if there are negatives attached to those things, you are not going to be confident. Only nice people are confident.
Yeah, very true.
And I think this is a complete misunderstanding, because people see arrogance as confidence, and it's the opposite. People see ego as confidence when it's the opposite.
Mm-hmm.
The things that produce arrogance and ego are the lack of confidence.
Yes.
So your confidence comes in a certainty that you are a good person.
Yeah.
And that you will do right by other people,
That.
and that you will do right by yourself.
Yeah.
And that you won't mistreat somebody.
Mm-hmm.
And pay attention to your thoughts, because you might verbalize all the correct things because you know in a textbook sense that's the right thing,
Mm-hmm.
but internally you might be disrespecting people all the time.
Yeah.
Now, here's the thing, that disrespect comes from the insecurity in yourself, and it's a projection. So say you look at somebody and you think to yourself, oh my God, look at the state of them, they're so fat.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and you didn't verbalize it, you literally just were driving past in your car and you thought it.
Yeah.
So that is all you.
Mm-hmm.
That is all you. Now, why would you have a negative thought about somebody that you do not know
Mm-hmm.
being overweight?
Yeah.
Unless there was something, so some of it can be learned behaviour. You've learned to have that narrative, long-term habits. But some of it could be that you have either like a hangover from something you believed about yourself when you were younger,
Mm-hmm.
or something that you believe about yourself now, and that you've not dealt with, you've not moved on past, or that you've not even identified. So really sit on that one for a while and think about, what do you think about other people
Yeah.
when you're on your own
Mm-hmm.
and it's only an internalized thought?
Because I think people's argument to that could be, but they are fat, or they are this and they are that. But for you to internally think that about somebody else, so they have nothing to do with them, okay? What you're trying to do to yourself is make you feel better. Make you feel better because you're not like that and you're not like them, and that is a boost to your ego when you think you're better than. So they might be all that, but you internalising it, that's why it matters. Because I think people would come to you and say, but they are like that, so that's why it matters. And I think what you said about having good values, Nat, one of the best things that has helped with my confidence and just being okay in who I am is understanding that me as a person, I'm not perfect. It's okay not to be perfect, but you allowed yourself that grace and you allow it for other people. Just allow people to be imperfect. Yeah, they're overweight. Okay, and what? We move on now. You allow that same grace for yourself. Know that you make mistakes, you're not perfect, but you have good values. You're a nice person. You wake up every day with intent to treat people kind. You work hard, X, Y, Z. Those things will do more for your confidence than looking a certain way ever will.
Just going to pick up on something else there as well, just reminded me. It's not enough in and of itself just to be a nice person, because being nice and being kind can come from a place of submissiveness.
Yes.
So a desire to make people like you,
Mm-hmm.
or to behave, say, to a partner who's dominant and domineering, maybe even
Disrespectful,
bullying.
yeah.
You know, so you become excessively submissive and nice
Mm-hmm.
in order to please.
Yes.
And this is where like it can tip over into something else. So don't just run around ingratiating people, thinking, well, this is where confidence comes from. It's about knowing you're a good person
Yes.
and knowing that you have respect for people.
Mm-hmm.
And that includes yourself.
That. Mm-hmm.
That includes yourself, and maybe even yourself above all.
Yeah.
Because see, if you don't like yourself, you're not going to be confident.
No. And yeah.
So people go back to the, yeah, but I don't like the way I look. So I get it, Anne. I get it. Right, you're telling me that confidence comes from within and and like you're a nice person. Okay, cool.
I still don't know the way I
But I
look.
still don't like the way I look. But that is from this idea of like, so you still haven't got there. You're still projecting onto other people. So you're still, I promise you, you are still having negative thoughts about other people, because if you don't like the way you look, that is based on what you think other people think of you. Because if you were on your own, on an island, with no one to see you, you do not give a fuck about how you look.
True. It's also why models and all these people, celebrities, can dislike how they look as well and not be confident and put up with terrible behaviour.
Wild, right? Because apparently they're perfect.
So that's how we know it's nothing to do with how you look.
There is no perfect.
No,
There is no perfect. I said to somebody just the other day there that they were perfect just the way they were, and they looked at me like they wanted to punch me in the face.
I do get it, but like another way to reframe it is you're just okay the way you are. Like, you are fine. You're totally.
The word perfect
fine.
is so loaded, but it shouldn't be.
Yeah.
Because fine and perfect, in context, are the same. People just get carried. So you're still not there with the confidence if you cannot accept that you are perfect the way you are, meaning you do not have to change. You're fully accepting of yourself the way you are. You might still want to change, that's different.
Yes.
There's a difference between feeling like you have to, because that's an external projection that you think is coming onto you, but it's not, it's coming from inside you. I'll concentrate here. If you fully accept who you are right now, in this moment, you know that you're a good person, you treat people well, you treat yourself well, you've given it a lot of thought, like, you realise that the least interesting thing about you, the least important thing about you is the way that you look.
Yeah, it's so true. It's so true.
It's so insignificant. So, you know, people will say to me, like, how are you so confident? And they think it's an external thing, but that external confidence is a projection from me of my internal confidence. So it's an expression of all the time that I have put in to making sure that the narrative that goes on in my head and that comes out of my mouth, as best as I am capable of it at the moment, is positive. And it is a unending task, because I still get it wrong. Of course I do. Of course some days I'm tired and I'll have a passing negative thought about someone or about me, or I'll start to get caught up in some gossipy stuff, and I'll, you know, before I know it, I'm saying something negative about someone that isn't in line with who I want to be, and that will then detract from my confidence. So it is a multi-layered thing.
Totally.
Making sure that people treat you well, you know, not accepting lower levels of behaviour from other people. Because when you start to allow that dents your confidence.
And then it's a bit of a cycle then, actually, as well.
So there's a lot of aspects to it. It's not here's the thing that the internet hates. It's nuanced.
Very nuanced.
It's nuanced. It's not as simple as one catchy little sentence.
No, and it changes it. It doesn't change overnight. No. That's inner work that you have to work on constantly.
It becomes easier because you become more of that person. A larger percentage of you is that person that is happy with the words that come out of their mouth and, you know, their physical positioning within the world, and how they accept, speak to and think of other people, their behaviours. That gets easier the more you get it right.
Sure, you're undoing years of habits as well. You know, it's ritualistic to think a certain way and to have those certain thoughts. So be okay with the fact that you're aware of this now, but tomorrow you're not going to wake up 100% confident, because it just doesn't happen. You're not going to read that one self-help book and then it all makes sense.
It's not just a post on
Instagram. It's all this and that. It's not. It's consistent, like anything. Like diet and fitness. It's consistent work over a long period of time, and slowly you just start to believe.
Anyone can do it.
Anybody,
Dare I say, it takes a little bit of confidence to believe you can do it.
How do I get that confidence?
You just got to start. You've got to start, and you've got to be willing to fail.
And
but not take that failure as a sign that it's not for you, that you can't do it, you can't get there. When I was a child, I was told I was shy.
Oh my god.
Yeah, right? That was a very, that was a long thing for me as a kid. Oh, she's shy. Like,
Yeah, no.
took me a long time to realise I wasn't shy. I was well into my teens before I realised that I wasn't actually shy.
And how you perceive yourself and what you've been told from other people about yourself isn't actually true.
So, that was a childhood thing for me, but a lot of people will have had things like that in their adult, like a boss telling them, whatever it is, oh, you stumble over your words when you're doing presentations because you're so nervous. Oh, well, that's going to help.
That's terrible boss.
I have heard things said like this so many times, like, oh, we're going to do this role-playing thing at work, you're probably going to be really awkward and nervous doing it, but it's worth it. Well, don't tell me I'm going to be awkward and nervous.
Yeah.
So, then you could go, oh, well, that's their fault that I felt like that. Okay, so that person, the boss, has got a lot to learn about
being a boss.
Confidence, right? And being a boss. But you also have to learn not to take on other people's narrative.
Of you, absolutely.
And to allow other people to be fundamentally incorrect and you be okay with that.
That's that. People aren't perfect and it's okay.
Yeah.
They're okay not being perfect.
If you ever catch yourself saying, they made me feel like that, it's an impossibility.
Yeah.
I would say, no, I'm going to nuance this slightly, God forbid, right? If somebody manipulates you and bullies you over a period of time, then I think they can gain control over you and make you feel bad.
Yeah.
So I think it can be too easy to go, no one can make you feel a certain way, but somebody definitely can influence you over a long period of time.
Yeah.
And I think it takes exceptional people to be resilient or impenetrable to that.
Yeah. Everybody's can be victim to that.
Yeah.
100%.
I think just to clarify that it's not like when I say things like no one can make you feel like that, I appreciate that there are situations in which somebody has gained control over you for any number of reasons. Like it could be physical abuse, it could be mental, it could be very subtle. It could be very subtle. Actually, it happened to me when I was in my early 20s. Somebody manipulated me over a long period of time, and if you'd asked me back then if it was possible to manipulate me, I'd have said no.
No, that's the thing, manipulation, and you don't know what's happening to you. Yeah,
and it caused me a lot of problems for a long time. The effect that control from another person had when I didn't think I could be controlled. So you might sit and look at me now and go, oh, she's so confident. But look at what, if I will tell my story sometime about all the things that I've had to go through to be who I am now. But don't for a minute think I was just born confident and I just came out this way and it was just natural. There was so much work had to go into it.
I dare say for everybody that's confident, they've had to learn how to be that way.
Yeah.
Nobody's intrinsically born with that.
You've just got to, I don't know, I never set out to be confident, I suppose. That was more like a offshoot. It was more like a bonus. A bonus for the other things that I looked at working on. And I looked at working on being somebody who I was happy with. So I didn't know that would result in confidence. Like I was never shy of standing up and talking in front of people. But I don't think that was confidence so much as I'm just good at thinking on my feet. I'm good at being put in an awkward position. That's where I fire quickly. It's not really got much to do with confidence. That wasn't about me feeling good about myself and walking around thinking that thinking that was a nice person. I could tell you actually wasn't a very nice person. So, like, if you asked me about who I was, I don't think I really knew who I was.
Yeah.
So the evolution of becoming much more confident was much more to do with, like, working on, do I treat people well? Am I happy with how I move through this world and the decisions that I make that are going to affect other people, without relinquishing my sense of self, and without sacrificing myself as well, because you don't need to sacrifice yourself to be a nice person.
And that's the being like too nice.
Yeah, that's that submissive, when it falls into that submissive thing.
Yeah, and you don't value yourself then. You let people walk over you like
So
that.
it's like not looking to control people, letting them be. It's not up to you how they live their life.
Let people be, that is it.
You know, like, don't, like, somebody can't offend you if you're not looking to be offended.
Yeah.
You know, and you'll become lighter, your humour becomes easier. It's like, folk are like, you know, you can't say anything now because you're going to offend somebody. Really? Is that true? Like, is it true?
It's a little bit true.
Like, so, I mean, that leads us into a slightly different thing, which I think is interesting though. It's like, why are people so easily offended now? Because they lack confidence.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're terrified of, like, the world being against them. And so they're hyper vigilant, looking for reasons why the world is going to attack them.
I'm interested to know if that's correlated to the increase in, like, social media use, when there's that.
Definitely.
Because social media is all about you're seeking external validation, you know, whatever you're doing on social media, it's that. And we also know confidence doesn't lie within external validation. So, if you're interested.
Yeah. I think, so that's something I maybe overlook a little bit, is the influence of social media, because I'm not on there so much. I use it as a tool. It's certainly not entertainment for me. And if you build your personality on several hours of social media a day, you're going to be in trouble.
Yeah, definitely.
And you're never going to know who you are.
No. And you think we might be referring to you posting and getting lots of likes, but it's not. It's who's messaged you that day, and you get a little bit happy when somebody sent you a message.
And it's also, what are you looking at? Like, what is it that you're finding entertaining? Are you finding things that are demeaning to other people entertaining? Are you thinking that's funny because it's happening to them, not you? Like, is that something that you're feeding? Or are you watching hours and hours of these apparently perfect looking people, and you're convincing yourself that is the only way that you can look in order to be happy? Like, what is it that you're feeding yourself? It matters so much. And I'll tell you, that is going to have an impact on your confidence. You're not going to be confident if you feed your brain with hours and hours and hours and hours of things that are not going to, like, work in your favour. And there are things on social media that are good. But you've got to filter through it. You've got to be a little bit of a connoisseur of, like, decent content.
Yeah, you're right. And it can be really subtle. I very rarely follow other CrossFitters or weightlifters. I don't give a fuck what you're doing. I don't care. And you can start that comparison thing. So if you're on social media, that's probably actually one of the biggest takeaways for the person asking this question. If you're spending hours on social media comparing yourself, maybe that's the first step. That's the first tool that you take, is get yourself off of there, really.
Yeah.
Or spend less time, or, you know, whatever.
Stop allowing yourself to be told, like, what to do, what to look like, what to think, what's funny, what's not funny, what's okay, what's allowable, what should you be wearing, how should your hair be styled, like, you know, what makeup products should you definitely buy, what food should you definitely eat. Like, all this stuff you are being told, and you don't even know you're being told it.
Yeah, that manipulation's subtle, isn't it?
Manipulation is subtle, and it's very subtle. They spend billions to be subtle and to sneak into your psyche. And all that stuff is going to have an effect on your confidence. If you're not happy with who you are, and you're seeking out, like, things that, like, confirmation bias, you know, you're seeking out things that compound your feeling of your inadequacy.
Yes.
You know, and you're constantly, like, looking for I don't know, you have an image in your head of what you want to be like fitness wise or physically looking, and that's conscious what you feed yourself. You just get more and more and more and more of it. And all you can do is look at yourself and go, but I'm not like that. I need to be like that. I need to look like that. But then you're still not actually, you're also not actually doing anything. Like, so, because I'll tell you, see if you're sitting at home and you're watching hours of social media of high-end CrossFitters and you're like, oh, all I want to be is like, I want to look like, name your top female CrossFitter of the day, don't know.
Danielle Brandon.
Right, so I want to be like Danielle Brandon, I want to look like Danielle Brandon, right? I want her physique, right? And you're telling yourself that over and over, and you're doing nothing. You're just watching her on a loop, wishing that you were like her.
No.
Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
What are you doing? Because see if you started on that journey, like if you actually then went, right, I'm going to do this. I am going to be like that. And you actually start on that journey and you start to get fitter and you're doing this. And it's not about the fitness, it's about that you're doing the positive thing for yourself. The fitness does play a part in it because the more physically capable you feel, that does generate a physical confidence.
Yes.
As in a feeling within your body that you're physically capable.
Yeah.
I don't mean an aesthetic confidence, which weirdly
happens
does
come.
It does come from that feeling of capability because you carry yourself different.
Yes.
You walk around different. So if you start your training and you're trying to be like Danielle Brandon, guess what? Somewhere along the line you'll stop trying to be like her because you'll be so happy with yourself.
Yeah. You won't care anymore.
You'll forget that's ever how you started the journey. And that feeling of inadequacy that you had when you were looking at videos of her when you were sitting at home, that's long gone because you're starting to feel confident about yourself and your own physical capabilities.
Yes.
That like you don't need that carrot anymore.
No. And the person that you are when you are training, you know, you're getting yourself up and you're doing hard work.
Yeah.
There's a certain confidence that comes with that as well. So
I an example I've used often is that think of it like this. Because you can be unfit and confident, but that's a different story. Think of it like this. So you're walking down the street, you're on one side of the street, and somebody who is not fit is walking down the other side of the street. And there is somebody coming along who's looking to rob someone. They're going to pick the other person because of the way you're walking, because you'll walk differently when you're fitter. You'll walk with more confidence, you'll walk more upright, your posture will be better, your presence will be stronger, you'll not be hiding away and stooping and like, you know,
hunched over,
hiding.
Yeah.
You know, you're willing to be there and be present. And they're like two different people. And you don't look like a victim.
It matters. It really does matter. Yeah.
I think that's quite a tangible one. People can feel that. They can feel their vulnerability, or they can feel their lack of vulnerability, and that's it. And they know straight away which one they are. No worry, you can change. You can change. You know, if you do feel vulnerable just now about your physical capabilities, and you would like to feel differently about it, you can definitely do something about it. You can It doesn't take much, by the way, of picking up weights before you start to feel more capable.
Yeah, so quickly it happens. So quickly. Yeah, you see the progress, absolutely.
I do actually feel like we could talk about this endlessly. Like,
big long-winded question. We hope you answered your question.
I feel like we have already talked about it a wee bit endlessly, so I think that'll probably do it.
Yeah, that's enough questions there.
We're undoubtedly going to talk about confidence and where it comes from again.
Yeah, so much, because it's so important.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. No, that was good, and thanks to everybody that sends us questions. If you've got any, you can leave them in the comments. Anything to add?
No, I think that'll
do.
That'll do for today.
Yes. Thank you for watching.
See you later. Bye bye.